Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the retirement ceremony for Gary Kehoe, NAD Chief of Security and Law Enforcement. After 26 years of service to NAD and in his 46 years of service to our nation. Additionally, in the room today, we have General Thomas Tickner, Division Commander, Colonel Sam Volkman, Deputy Commander, Mike Ganley, Juan Caez, Mike Cantor, Bob Seelaw, Dennis Singleton, Bill Kozak, Juan Pinero, and I'm First Lieutenant Bakemeyer, aide to General Tickner. Virtually, we'd like to recognize Gary's wife, me, and Gary's two sons, Tommy and Kevin, who are up virtually. General Tickner, sir, would you like to say a few words?
I would, and go ahead, keep it on this shot. I'm going to take my mask off. We're going to stay socially distanced, but thanks to Gary and some other people, I've been able to get my vaccine. Gary, do you have your vaccine? No, so we're going to definitely stay socially distanced here. First off, this is a, I'll say sad, but we're going to celebrate Gary leaving. And not from a celebration, but celebrate what he's done for his federal service today. So glad the family's here witnessing. Wish you were all in the same room, but hey, we got Kevin in Canada and Tommy in Texas, and I think your the granddaughter would be in. Where's your granddaughter? Where's the granddaughter, Kevin? Is she behind you?
She's at daycare right now. Canada.
I thought that was like spring break and everybody was in Florida. Okay. Hey, but welcome. And me is up there. Okay, great. And me, I don't know if you're just on sound, but if you wave, we might be able to see you because this is definitely your celebration. You're finally going to get Gary back, like full time, like 24 hours a day in the villages. We'll see.
She's technically challenged.
That's all right. We're going to tape this. We're going to send it to her, and she can play it at the villages when they welcome them. So Gary, this is a to me a perfect ceremony for you because 46 years ago today, was it at the MEP station? I don't know if it was exactly today, no, but let's just make it up that he came here, put on a bus, came to the MEP station, processed through, and then he was an MP. MP in the Army for 20 years. I'm kind of a little upset that your brother didn't talk you into going to engineer. Yeah. How did that not happen? Where's your brother?
Huh? Hello.
Hello. Why did you not make him an engineer?
What can I say? He doesn't listen to his brother.
Hey, I'm so glad you're with us today. One, to celebrate your brother's retirement here, a long, 46 years of federal service. But as a, Vietnam vet, an engineer at that, I think you're going to be very happy with today's celebration from our engineer regiment. So thanks for being here. So
thanks very much. My pleasure.
But spent 20 years as an MP up to CID level or CID program, but then came to work for us, NAN, probably right away, but really NAN, NAD, we're all the same, one big team here, right? Who worked for NAN ever? Wow, the whole room's raising their hand. But I knew Gary, definitely knew his name. I was Philadelphia District Commander, 2008. We were going through transitions. And that's the one thing I think that NAD does. Our main mission is to keep the mission going as all the transitions happens, especially in Europe, but definitely in the districts. And that's what we were doing in Philadelphia at the time, a transition. And Gary made sure that transition happened. And we got through that. So thanks for everything you did to me when I was a lieutenant colonel. And then it was so happy when I came back last summer. And here's a familiar name, Gary Kehoe. I'm like, okay, well, this will be pretty good, at least from a security standpoint, rolled right in. And so definitely appreciate your long career up here. And I think we'll have a few people thank you for specifics thing there. We were just talking earlier, I just got off the phone with General Milhorn and all our folks in Europe. One thing that the security team brings to us, and no one ever thinks of it, we're always thinking of, hey, give them a country brief, let's collect information from them, let's distribute it, let's make sure we're all following good security procedures. But he also keeps track of everybody in USACE. Everybody. You cannot go to Europe or Africa or anywhere in the world for that matter without Gary knowing. So he watches that all the time. So going back to the engineer regiment, there's probably no closer bond. And so I'm going to go back in time. This is 20 years ago or 26 years ago for when you were in. There's probably no better bond, tighter bond, sometimes fisticuff bond between engineers and MPs. I don't know why they put them in the same barracks and there's fights that happen. Not that that happened with Gary and your brother, although that would have been pretty neat if you were in exactly at the same time. But what we have is probably the most unique military award, at least from an engineer standpoint, that we bestow on people. And it's for folks that go above and beyond every day. And we're going to read the history of that award. But I think your brother's going to recognize the award. I definitely, it's going to be an honor to put it on you. And I'm going to have Will kind of read the history. And I'm going to put my mask back on because I want to stand close to you as we do this. Go ahead, Will.
As the Corps of Engineers implemented U.S. Army regimental system to emphasize the history, customs, and traditions of the Corps, the leadership sought a method for the Corps to honor those individuals who have provided significant contributions to Army engineering. The De Fleury Medal was adopted as an award because of the values demonstrated by the man for whom it was struck. It is understood that the De Fleury Medal was the first congressional medal struck, if not the first medal authorized. The story by Francois de Fleury, a French engineer in the Continental Army, is compelling. In 1777, he volunteered to serve with the American Army in its fight for independence from Britain. The Continental Congress appointed de Fleury a captain of engineers, and he quickly proved himself, being promoted to lieutenant colonel. But it was in the desperate battle at Stony Point, New York in 1779 that de Fleury's courage under fire won him the accolades of Congress. In June of 1779, Stony Point was established on the Hudson River, about 30 miles from Manhattan Island. A large British force captured the fort and began building a strong defensive perimeter. The point was a stony crag in the peninsula jutting into the Hudson River, while the landward side flooded at high tide, essentially rendering the point an island. The formidable defense earned the fort landmass the title Little Gibraltar. General George Washington was disturbed by the capture of the fort, and he was convinced the enemy was preparing to strike West Point, which was just upriver. American reinforcements were quickly moved into position, including a recently formed light infantry corps consisting of combat veterans. The group was made up of 4 regiments of about 340 men each, with de Fleury's second in command of the 1st Regiment. For such a risky assault, surprise was vital. The attack was to take place in total darkness. So on July 15th, the Corps unloaded weapons, turned in their ammunition, and fixed bayonets. Hand-to-hand combat were the orders of the day. A British sentry ultimately sent up an alarm to the fort, and fierce fighting commenced. Several regiment commanders were wounded, but the Continentals scrambled up the rocky slope with de Fleury in the lead. First over the wall, de Fleury was followed by a wave of American bayonets. Rushing to the flagpole, de Fleury cut the British colors from their staff. In addition to the recapture of Stony Point, the victory fired the Americans' determination and lifted their morale. On 1 October 1779, de Fleury stood before the Continental Congress to be praised for his valor at Stony Point and was awarded a medal to be struck in his honor. The Engineer Regiment adopted the de Fleury Medal as an award because of the values demonstrated by a man for whom it was struck, values of special meaning to engineer soldiers. It is understood that the de Fleury Medal was the first congressional medal struck, if not the first medal authorized. And with that, General Ticker is going to present the de Fleury Medal to Gary Kehoe. Attention to orders. The bronze order of the de Fleury Medal is presented to Mr. Gary L. Kehoe for his commitment to leadership throughout 26 years of selfless service to United States Army Engineer Regiment and United States Army Corps of Engineers. Mr. Kehoe leaves an enduring legacy of professionalism and commitment to excellence. His leadership, professionalism, and dedication to duty in support of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Mission Assurance Program reflects great credit upon himself, the North Atlantic Division, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Set it over here. We okay. Okay, yeah, there we go. Got it. We got a few more awards to do.
The Meritorious Civilian Service Medal will be presented by Brigadier General Tickner. Attention orders for meritorious civilian service. For meritorious performance while serving as Chief Security Officer, North Atlantic Division from February 1995 to April 2021, and culminating 26 years of federal service, his success is directly attributed to his dedication to duty and technical expertise in applying the functional area requirements of the myriad of U.S. Army security and mission assurance programs. He routinely supported leaders and staff across the region with conducting investigations into unauthorized illegal activities, contract activities, facilitating training, hiring panels, and more. Mr. Kehoe's tireless leadership and dedication to federal service reflect great credit upon him, the North Atlantic Division, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the Department of Army. Signed, Thomas J. Tickner, Brigadier General, United States Army, Commanding. At this time, I'll ask Juan Caez and Mike Cantor to come up on behalf of the Garrison Commander to join Brigadier General Tickner for this next presentation. Feel free to say a few words after we present this award. Sir, can Gary L. Kehoe is awarded an American flag accompanying this certificate that was flown over the United States Army Garrison Headquarters, Fort Hamilton, New York, on 22 March 2021. This flag was flown in honor of your retirement from active federal service, and the men and women of the United States military thank you for your commitment and service to our nation. Signed, Thomas J. Tickner, Brigadier General, United States Army, Commanding. Over there. Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, we'll transition over to some of the awards. Mike Ganley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we're going to have our partners from the Garrison.
When you talk about mission partners, Mr. Kehoe and what he's brought to the table here has been the epitome of what a partnership is. Without him, this installation, quite frankly, myself and my performance wouldn't have been as successful as we have been. So we're going to miss you. Appreciate everything you've done. Well,
I'd like to say that Gary has been a mentor also for me in the DPTMS security area. He has been an asset to the installation to help us with our anti-terrorism and force protection programs and the emergency management. He actually took care of us and took us out some sort of training that he's put together for the Corps of Engineers and the Army. And again, I know that this is a celebration of your career, and we're very proud to be among you and be celebrating with you. And best of luck on your retirement. Thank you.
Bill Kozak. Bill Kozak will be presenting a U.S. flag flown over the World Trade Center on behalf of NAM security teams.
Before I present the flag, I would just like to make a few comments if I could. Gary, this is a bittersweet day for most of us and especially for me. I'm happy for you that you're going off to a glorious retirement in Florida. With your expertise and professionalism are going to be definitely missed. by all of us in NAD, and especially New York District. I'd like to say that I first met Gary in the mid-1980s when we both served in CID together. And in all those years, and I've been racking my brain for the last couple of days trying to think, I honestly can say that I have never had anybody I met in the last 37 years who ever really had anything bad to say about Mr. Kehoe. He was always been respected, trusted, and he's always been there when you needed assistance or guidance or help. Gary's security professionalism is beyond question throughout the Corps of Engineers, and I'll say throughout the Army because he's been recognized by the Department of the Army also for his anti-terrorism activities. But I want to mention that Gary's expertise goes beyond security, and certain of you could attest to this. Gary was also an expert in cuisine. It doesn't matter where you travel in the world, whether it's in Tunis or you go to Europe, Mr. Kehoe could recommend an excellent eatery for your budget or your needs.
That's right.
I would also like to mention, and just briefly, another story. Years ago, when Gary was a one-man shop, he used to leave a voice message on his phone. If you needed assistance, call Kozak over at New York District. So one day years ago, I got a phone call from a very anxious sounding colonel from headquarters USACE. And he said, I need to get Mr. Kehoe. I need to get Mr. Kehoe. And I said, well, I could probably find him. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but maybe I can help you. What's the problem? He said, no, only Mr. Kehoe could help me. He said, I have $1 million that I have to spend by the end of the day. I'm obligated to spend it. And Mr. Kehoe is the only one in the Corps of Engineers that could get that done for me today. Anyway, after Superstorm Sandy, Gary was up front. We were trying to escort the chief engineers and other VIPs to the disaster sites in New York. And lo and behold, Mr. Kehoe calls and said, I hooked us up with a New York State Police escort. Well, he was able, with his liaison capabilities and skills, was able to get New York State Police to personally assist NAD when they were tied up with a lot of other things in New York City and the area at the time. That impressed me. Anyway, on September 11th, following September 11th, Gary took the lead and personally made uncountable trips to Ground Zero, escorting the chief of engineers and other VIPs. And I could only admire his skill at how he got that accomplished in those days. Anyway, Gary, on behalf of the day of September 11th, we changed our security jobs 180%. I thought it was fitting that New York, both the Land Division wants to with this flag that was flown at the World Trade Center site on March 3rd of this year in recognition and a little remembrance. Thank you. I wish you well.
Bill,
Get a photo.
Bill.
Sir, get your photo. There you go. 1, 2. One more. Thank you.
Bob Seelock. Sorry. Okay.
Well, Gary,
Yes, Robert.
this is Christine Castle from the division and all the district security officers out in the division, the AOR. I don't even know what to say. I met Gary in 2005. My other job, we were looking for deployment training. Everybody said to me, call Gary Kehoe, and he'll get you in the training. I went to Intac. We became friends after that. We stayed close together. Started working for Gary at NAD. We became friends. He's the hardest working guy I know. He's nonstop. I'm hoping that you can enjoy your retirement, relax, take some time with your family, drive your golf cart around down in the villages. And you will definitely be missed, and keep in touch.
Mike Ganley, will you come up, please? I want to put back the file. Well, this is just a token of the appreciation that all the security chiefs and on behalf of the RCO shop and the security office here at NED, I'd just like to present you with this. It's all the coins from all the districts of the division in the center, and just in the token of appreciation of your work and your excellent support to our team and security. One more again.
This way, Mike. One more. Thank you.
Dennis Singleton, you'll be next.
You brought a package up. It looks like graham crackers.
Yeah, we got it screened. Just a couple other things, Gary. Gary, readiness and contingency operation, and Gary, we all work together as one team. And over the past couple of years, I've learned more about security than I ever thought I would ever need to know. And 99% of it is thanks to Gary and his tutelage for me as an engineer. And here's a partnership of engineers and security guys and working right together. And I really appreciate you put together a team that's awesome, and your legacy will live on. And part of security is feeling safe. And I think everybody here at NED can agree that we've always felt pretty safe here at NED and throughout the AOR. We really haven't had any problems or threats that really harmed us in any way.
9/11 thing.
Yeah, the 9/11 thing. That was when we started.
Yes. There was a port authority.
And there's two things that I think you care about a lot: it's security and baseball. So I'm going to start with security. So on behalf of the NAD RCO team, we thought that we could keep you in touch on secure communication. And this is the method we plan on doing it. So
It's safe, open.
yeah, you can open it. We put it in the bathtub.
Okay.
Sorry. Fancy wrapping paper.
This recovery fund money?
Yeah. So in lieu of a zipper net, we have a manual zipper net here. So we'll send you a separate note and you can decode it using the decoder. We picked that up in St. Louis last year. It's a replica of what they used back in the Revolutionary War. And then inside here, the other thing you're concerned with is baseball, and you may want to take a look at here. A couple of things. Yeah, sure. Sorry. So don't open that one, but this one here is just so you can look at it. It's a Honus Wagner baseball card, probably the most valuable card in all of baseball. But unfortunately, because of ethics, we can only give you. It's usually worth $2.5 million. Yeah. This one's worth about $2.40. It's a replica from the Honus Wagner estate. You can enjoy that and tell people it's the real thing.
You can see Madeline now. How much did it cost?
So the other one, I'll ask you not to open it because it's very fragile. Who's your favorite player?
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. So he was drooling over my Willie Mays card collection. So I got him the biggest Willie Mays card ever. Well, it's got a little rip in it, so it fits the ethic, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's in here. It's 50 from 1968. It's a poster of Willie Mays. It's about as pliable as a piece of newsprint from 1950 or 1968. Excuse me. So please be careful. Yep. And you should be able to, if you decide to get it mounted, have someone who knows what they're doing. They can do a good job. That's the only flaw with it, but it's basically brand new. So congratulations.
And good luck.
Dennis Singleton, you next.
Well, Mr. Kehoe, well, this is it.
Yeah.
I'll be representing the Europe District. Of course, they couldn't come because of travel restrictions. They wish they could be here. But as Mr. Kozak mentioned earlier, they all recall your fine cuisine choices and whatnot, whether it fits your pocket or your personal need. So they want to make sure that you have this beer stein to remind them of those times there. But also, they're a little upset that they couldn't bring that hot pretzel along also. Obviously, that you like so much.
Pills and pretzels, pills and pretzels.
So they're sorry about that, but also in that package we have here, I think they gave you about a year's supply of this chocolate that you love also. So there's several bars over here to enjoy the rest of the year. And also, they want to send you just a little coffee mug, just to sip on, at the time in the morning for you. And like I said, they want to wish you all the best in the world and congratulations on your retirement. And of course, we'll still be friends. I look forward to accepting that invitation to come down there.
Anytime.
And I don't want to go through the same thing that Bobby went through, but I also met you way back, after Bobby went to the NTAC course. I attended the NTAC course. We were working together at the time, and then friendship and peership and companionship, and we're all going to miss you. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Congratulations.
We're going to show off to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, Q, he'd yelling at me if I didn't do that.
Sir, the floor is yours.
Okay, is there anyone else that wants to say anything today? Because this has been an honor to host. It could have been anybody. As I said, I was on with, General Milhorn, General Graham. Many folks are still here, but the list goes on and on of people you worked with. I'll say serve, but really you worked with them, and we all counted on you. And I'm so glad your family got to see this today. A year ago or 2 years ago, they wouldn't even have come, but we've gotten them. So maybe there's a good thing with COVID is we actually can engage with everybody. And the other thing I got to thank you for is I don't even know some of these people because they don't want to work with me. I see them on email and online, but so good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. And look forward to, us getting back to the new normal. But Gary, hey, the floor is yours. We got somebody up there. Before you go, we got
Richard Miller, want to say something?
we got a hand up.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Hey, sir, my name is Rick Miller. I'm the Army Anti-Terrorism Division Chief. I work for Office Provost Marshal General in the Pentagon. First of all, sir, I want to thank you for taking the time to give Gary all this attention that is very well deserved. General Tigner, I've known Gary now for going on 25 plus years. I cannot think of a more deserving cop, if you will, that deserves that engineer award that's around his neck. I haven't seen too many of those on cops, but Gary, in my opinion, estimation, and I've known a lot of cops, known a few that have worked for the Corps of Engineers over the years. None of them deserve it more than that gentleman to your right there, sir. So I really want to thank you for taking the time to show some shed some light on Gary's time. I would like to say that from an AT perspective, many of Gary's accomplishments are still serving the U.S. Army soldiers and civilians that are going into harm's way. Some of you may know that the work that Gary did, particularly in the track in West Virginia, the initiative that Gary started on his own, literally still lives on. I received an email from an Army Lieutenant Colonel who was sending some Special Forces soldiers downrange just a few weeks ago that said his troops love this training. And these are highly trained troops, but the training was so good, they're going into a high-risk area. He wanted more training. That blew me away, and that traces right back to that man standing right there to your right, sir. He's still serving. He's going to still be serving after he walks out of that room, and that's a very impressive contribution, and it's going to live on and serve the Army for a very long time. So your legacy, brother, will live on. I don't know anybody in the 25 years that I've known Gary that's more effective getting the job done than that man right there. It's hard for me to finish this, so please bear with me. Gary, I've always felt that you're my battle buddy, and I thank you for that. So from all of us here at the Pentagon in the Army Anti-Terrorism Division, the Office of the Provost Marshal General, I want to thank you and wish you the most enjoyable ever retirement. You have deserved it, brother. So your legacy will live on, and you'll always be in my heart. And I appreciate the work that you've done. Sir, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time. And God bless you, Gary. Good luck.
Thanks, Richard.
Sir, this is Jennifer Howe. May I chime in, please?
Please, because we don't want to hear Gary talk.
All right. Hey, Gary, I want to wish you the best in your new endeavors. We had sent up a 3-star note up to General Spellman, and they're running a little bit behind, but if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and read this in front of the group. It says, Dear Mr. Kehoe, congratulations on your retirement. Please accept my sincere thanks for your exceptional work and dedicated service you have provided during your 46 years of combined military and civil service. From the U.S. Army Military Police Corps to the Chief of Security and Law Enforcement for the North Atlantic Division, I appreciate the expertise, wisdom, mentorship, and initiative that has profoundly defined your highly successful career. Your efforts to ensure the safety and security of our soldiers, civilians, family members, contractors, facilities, infrastructure, and information resulted in our ability to execute the mission, thereby strengthening the USA's security and reduce disaster risk. Additionally, with much insight and fortitude, you independently developed the INTAC course, which has trained thousands of soldiers and civilians over the years to operate and survive in hostile environments. INTAC has been classified as the gold standard of deployment training due to your innovative focus. Thank you again for all you've done to protect the force and ensure the mission accomplishment for USACE, the Army, and the nation. Best wishes to you for a long, healthy, and fulfilling retirement in Florida. Essions, and it's Scott A. Spellman, Lieutenant Colonel General, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Commanding. So, congratulations, Gary. I wish you the best.
Anyone else? Oh, do we have somebody else that's got their hand up?
Tom Kehoe?
Tommy.
Well, sorry, just a wave, just a wave of emotion coming through. You know, my countless number of my friends have always asked, what does your dad do? And I never really knew how to answer that. I always just said, well, he's in security, but I think he's pretty good at it. And for me, Sorry. It's just the first time I'm getting to witness his accolades. And his contribution. I'm sorry. I just wanted to know how proud. How proud we are.
Yeah.
And it's still not satisfactory is because this is going to be a work in progress. This isn't necessarily something that only gets work when the.
Yeah, I think someone's got a hot mic.
We have personnel that are working there on a day-to-day basis to be able to
And then Tom, if you want to say anything more, come on back.
Yeah, actually, that was perfect because I needed those few seconds to collect myself.
We didn't do that to you.
We're just so proud of him, and we love you.
Yeah,
it's long deserved, and we're glad that we're here to witness it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anybody else? You don't need to put your hand up. You can just talk, especially if you're family. Go ahead and just talk if you're trying to talk. Unmute though. You got to unmute.
Hey, this is Scott Russell.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, I appreciate the invite, Gary. It's really an honor to be here and to witness your retirement ceremony. Greetings to Mig Young, yourself, Tommy, and Kevin. We met in the early 80s in Korea with Yongsan District. Had some great times there. You're probably the only other guy that I know that is aware of the ingredients of the drink called Evenings in Itaewon, of which we shared a few. Thinking back over the years of the good times we've had, meeting your parents at Colonial Williamsburg during the summers, watching your boys grow up, and you mature into an outstanding CID agent and a federal government professional. Can't be prouder to hear about the great things you've done and to witness the great things you did at the Corps of Engineers in a totally different career from Army CID. So I look forward, Kyung and I both look forward to seeing you and your family down at the villages, riding around in your little golf cart and having some good times together down there in the near future. So all the best to you and heartfelt congratulations. And also just a shout out to Bill Kozak, who I also served with in Army CID, and excellent presentation, Bill. And all the best to you also. Thank you very much.
I know what's
If I could just say a few words next, this is Kevin. It's going to be hard to follow my brother. So I just want to I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, so don't get too emotional. I'm kind of in the same boat as Tommy, where, growing up, I knew you were Army, then Army Corps of Engineers, and you worked in security. But, to have the privilege of sitting in on this session today, and just like Tommy saying, the level of achievement, like how much impact you have really made with your work. Deep down, from the very bottom of my heart, I'm so proud of you. And I know for all these years, you've worked so hard, and I'm happy that, now you get to reap the rewards. So thank you, and proud of you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Hello,
Anybody
can
else?
you hear me?
Just talk. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Steve Willoughby. I'm the branch chief for the Electronic Security Center mandatory center of expertise down here in Huntsville. And hey, Gary, first off, congratulations on a great career. Sorry to see you go. As an engineer years ago, I got introduced to Gary at some of the physical security working groups. Then after 9/11, I got assigned to run around with the NAD with Gary, looking at a lot of the reservoirs and dams and everything. But Gary, I appreciate everything you've done, not just for me, but the training that you put out there for all of our other engineers and Corps of Engineers people to come through and make them a better asset to the federal government and everything. I sure do appreciate it. Thank you for taking care of us, introducing us to pie and everything when we came up to New York, and taking the time to find out a restaurant that served grits in the morning. But we're just glad to have you coming back this way, and because I knew you were a Southerner all the time at heart, so we're glad to have you coming our way. And again, Gary, just thank you for a successful career and your friendship and everything. And I wish you and your wife the best. Over.
Thank you, Steve. Hey, Edwin.
I'd just like to say that I'm extremely proud of my little brother, even though he's quite a bit bigger than I am. He's certainly well deserving of his retirement with all his years. One little story though, when I flew back, got home from Vietnam, we headed to JFK. And here was this rather large young person running down to greet me. It made coming home very special until we walked down to another gate and he spotted Cassius Clay. And he was still Cassius Clay at that point. So then he had to run over and get his autograph. But it was a great return. I'll never forget that day. And I love you, Gary. You're the best.
Thank you. So down the bottom right, they keep waving.
Is there anybody else that wants to say anything? Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Gary. Hey,
This
is
John Huddleston with Military
Go ahead.
Programs from Headquarters USA, Mission Assurance. I just want to say thanks, Gary, for all that you've done to help secure defense critical infrastructure throughout your career, and also from the Headquarters DA GT517. Thank you, and wish you guys the best.
Thank you.
Just so, I mean, this has been fantastic. The blend of family, which is everybody here to include NAD. I think the person that cried the most is Karen. So Karen Kehoe.
Gary and I cry
Okay,
all the time.
but just so you know, I want the family to know, how special this is, even to the folks that work with him every day. And so thank you very much. And unless there's anybody else, I'm going to turn it over to Gary. Gary?
Thank you, sir. Before I get started, I just want to let you know that I'm leaving you guys in good hands. Bob and Dennis, when I met them, they served on the Joint Terrorism Task Force in New York. They preempted a lot of stuff that we never heard about. They saved a lot of lives with the cases they investigate involving international terrorists. So you guys are in good hands going on. Okay. I'd like to thank Bob, Dennis, Jennifer Gunn, and the LT for organizing this in these very trying times. Part of the plan for something like this, and it is when there is no COVID and restrictions and things like that. Also, the timing was great. I was starting to look like David Letterman or Robin Williams in his Jumanji role. So now, as it's been said, 46 years of service to the nation, 20 years active duty, and 26 a little bit with the Corps. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve. Basically, it's my entire adult life that I've been in service to the nation. My family has had to put up with unaccompanied tours, excessive PDYs, etc. One of the big surprises was when they threw me a 50th birthday party. The surprise was I was in Turkey. And I had celebrate my 50th birthday with OH in the Air Force Dining Hall in Insolink. So
With the regular Army and with the Corps, I met some of the brightest, smartest, best, nicest people, various disciplines. But in JD and SNMP, I also got to meet some of the worst the Army had to offer, i.e. rapists, murderers, and pedophiles. I met some great people from outside the Army, from the Corps of Engineers, NYPD, FBI, State Police, DHS, NCIS, OSI, FPS, CIA, DIA, et cetera, and many, many more. I still maintain relationships with them. It's important to me. I wear, whenever I got a tie on, I wear this little anchor and globe, the Marine Corps symbol. And what that is to reinforce to me, don't make the same mistake twice. When I was in my first preliminary interview and interrogations practical exercise, I forgot to lock the door. And Chief Parrish, who was a warrant officer in the Marine Corps, broke in my interview, and that was it. Then afterwards, he gave me this little emblem, and like I said, wear it to this day, just remind me, don't make the same mistake twice. As far as Tommy and Kevin saying they didn't realize what I did, that's true. When they were young and in Little League up in Leominster, Massachusetts, and I was a CID agent assigned Devon. Myself and the guy working with me, working with the Massachusetts State Police and several of the local police departments, we took down a Latino drug gang. We arrested 15 of them. They're all still doing time. Nobody knew what I did there until it was in the papers, local papers, saying investigation by Gary Kehoe, da da da. And I was like, oh, geez, that's just what I wanted in the news. But so, like I said, they never knew what I did, and I did. I was one of those people. I didn't like to bring work home. You know, they didn't need that. To members of the NAD team, security team out there, I tried to mentor and facilitate schooling for you guys to enhance your professional and technical expertise and competency to better serve the NAD Mission Assurance Program. For everybody here at NAD, those of you that accompanied me here to NAN Southeast, 26 Federal Plaza, and to all those other ones that, came from other places, I thank you for your support over the time. You did your training when I asked, you never said why. You just did it. And also for those of you that travel out overseas, you kept me informed of your trips so we can make sure that all the regulatory requirements are met for you to get in and out of the countries and that you be safe. To the folks at Headquarters USACE, Protective Design Center, Electronic Security Center, I'd like to thank you all for your support over the years. You've helped make NAD a safer environment with the assistance that you provided to me. And the training courses I was able to facilitate that you guys taught for me. I greatly appreciate that. For the folks in cybersecurity, somewhat of a new organization, Phil Copeland and crew, thank you. You've definitely helped make our assets safer from cybersecurity incidents such as down at the aqueduct or any other place where we operate. There was something out the other day, but we're, with people coming in with different kinds of software, but we're protected based on what you've done to help secure our facilities. So my peers from the other MSCs and districts developed some excellent friendships. I know like Rich Maxwell down at Vicksburg, I worked with his father in CID. And I coached football against him when he was down in Kehoe and I was up in Youngstown. And good dude. Also in the driving course, we got venison because of him. The deer didn't see him coming down the track. So, but and just a lesson for everybody. The deer, someone jumps in front of you, you hit the deer. You don't go off road. Deers give, horses give, trees, guardrails, cement barriers don't. Okay. To my friends on the installation, DES, DepSec, DPW, and RBS, and the executive office, I'd like to thank you all for the support over the years. You've made my job a lot easier, and I greatly appreciate it. Bob and Dennis, you guys are the A-team. Without you guys, I would have jumped off the roof a long time ago. People don't understand how many different programs we're responsible for. And I truly thank you guys and sticking out over the years. And, you guys can be left in good hands with Cognitive, so help them out as we go. over the last few years, health has been a little bit of an issue. It started with my little fender bender in Romania, where I was out riding with one of the first engineers from one site to another. We got rear-ended and knocked underneath the tractor trailer truck, and I got 3 fractured vertebrae on my back. Experience at Romanian hospital is quite unique. But from there, I've had some other issues, but for the most part now everything is clear and I'm ready to go play a lot of golf, ride my motorcycle, and umpire a bunch of baseball. People may ask, what are you going to do? You know, you're going to go back to work and stuff. Well, if baseball and, you know, motorcycle and golf get boring, maybe I'll go back out. And my optimum job that I want to get is wearing a little white jumpsuit with a little broom and a little thing to pick up trash in either Disney or Universal. You don't have to worry about people getting kidnapped, IEDs going off, rockets coming in from Gaza or the West Bank or anything else like that. You know? So that'd be the optimum job. So, that's about it. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate everybody's support over the years. I appreciate you coming today and the wonderful comments and the gifts that I got. Thank you so much. And if Mr. Kozak had his capability to be playing my way right now, but I got that the other day in the production work. So anyway, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the virtual ceremony. If you'd like to go sign the online kudo board to wish Gary a good retirement, please follow the link that's in the comments section or reach out to anyone on the NAD staff or Bob Seelock. Everyone, please stay safe and building strong. Essayons.